Hello, welcome. I'm Galinda, the Goodwitch. Um, this is my first movie review. I don't have a social media presence. I don't do much on the internet, so I don't know who this is for. It might just be for me, but this is fun. I got dressed up. I put on my ding ding ding, and I put this up. See, I don't even know how the camera is backwards. So anyway, this is exciting. I'll give you a little background for my relationship to Wicked, the musical. Ever since I was little, musicals, that was the first thing I ever was exposed to that I just deeply, deeply loved. And I knew this was my life. And I just was obsessed. The first musical that my family took me to was Phantom of the Opera. And I just fell in love and love and love. And I was singing it forever and still to this day sing all the numbers of Phantom of the Opera. And then just all musicals I fell in love with. Of course, Wicked, when that came around, was mind-blowingly good. I saw it in San Francisco, and it wasn't even the Broadway production, but it was excellent. The songs were in my head forever. So when this new movie was going to come out, I was very anxiously awaiting its arrival. I had a feeling it was going to be really good. I love John M. Chu, which, side note, I discovered I am sort of family friends with him because I'm from the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and John M. Chu's father is the Mr. Chu, who owns a Chinese restaurant, and it's not Mr. Chu. I guess Mr. Chu, but it's called Chef Chu's in Los Altos. That's where I grew up. And we would go out to eat there all the time. And so in high school, it was like the famous celebrity restaurant and family that everybody knew. And it was just bing, magical. So it's very fitting that the son of the magical wizard, who is Chef Chu, that the whole town knows and loves, is going to go on to be a famous Hollywood movie director. So anyway, from seeing his amazing work, I knew he was going to do a good job with Wicked. I knew that Steven Schwartz was going to be involved musically, so it was in good hands. Let's talk about the casting, which was very controversial. Listen, Cynthia Erivo is like, could you get better casting? I mean, she's phenomenal. She's like the epitome of Broadway musical talent, right? So yes to that. And then now you have an added layer of, it actually made me think, why was Elphaba never black? Shouldn't she have always been black? It was the most appropriate thing that this musical is about. Skin color being such a barrier for society being able to handle such a difference, and so it's very fitting that a beautiful black woman plays this role and gets to really exemplify what that feels like. So loved that casting. Now, Ariana Grande, I feel like that was the controversial one. I feel like, of course, all the Ariana Grande fans were like, hell yes, but I think most of the people were not sure she could live up to what it would require. I knew that Ariana had the skills for it. She's hosted SNL. She's obviously very funny, so you can tell she has the comedic talents. I'm pretty sure the way she became famous was from her impressions, her musical impressions. That's how I found out about her. I don't know. I assume that's how the world found out about her, but I'm not positive. So anyway, we knew she had comedic skills. Obviously, we know she's a talented singer. And she had been on Broadway. She started on Broadway as a kid in 13. So she had the talent. I just personally, and this is what makes me an popular opinion. I just don't love her style and tone. I just think it's like her pop brand is perfect for her, and her runs are insane. And she's so talented, but it's like a very specific sound that never has resonated with me personally, so I was never into her pop music. So this was made me nervous for the role of Glinda, which is my favorite role. I mean, they're both my favorite, but musically, I'm a soprano, so I resonate more with Glinda. Those are the songs that, I mean, I sing both, of course, like a true Wicked fan, but yeah, the Glinda songs are more my vocal range. Popular was the song that was like, yeah, I've got this. I love this. And Kristen Chenoweth is just beyond, with not only her talent, because obviously her and Dina are both incredibly talented and iconic, but just the stylings, the comedic stylings, the timing, the over the topness that's so perfection for this role. I mean, just no one touches Kristen Chenoweth. But with that said, I never even saw Kristen Chenoweth live. I saw Wicked twice, live on Broadway and in San Francisco, and they were both fantastic. Whoever played them I was really impressed. So that doesn't mean that it has to be Kristen Chenoweth forever. There's plenty of really talented Glindas. However, it was challenging for me to imagine Ariana as this like really powerful presence of Glinda. Her style is just, she's very soft, she's very airy, she's very light and subtle. And that's how she does comedy, and that's how she sings. And yes, she can belt, but like her main style is just very light. And so that's exactly what we got in the movie. Listen, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not saying it's bad. Everything that I said is true, and she proved that to be true. She's incredibly talented musically. She is a good actress. She is like funny. She's super funny. In her style, it just was not the style that I would have loved to see Glinda as. It's just, yeah, I just like my Glinda to be more powerful, more in your face, more annoying, more just over the top. I just love that. I love every Glinda I've ever seen has been like over the top, and then even the soprano, the operatic sound is like very full. So Ariana's is like gorgeous. You can't, it's undeniable her talent, right? This is not about talent. This is just about preference. And Ariana is just very light. She's so crisp. She's so precise. Her opera skills when she's singing especially No One Mourns the Wicked, excellent. She's so clean and clear. And it's not the full voice that I want my Glinda to have. It just doesn't have the bigness of it all. So, that was just for me. I walked away from the movie. Popular is absolutely not my favorite song, or even one of the tops, to be honest. I feel like the whole number was, I guess because it's so, I mean, it was Popular and Defying Gravity, right? Those are our two big, huge main fan love songs. And so they knew that, and they really extended both of those numbers, and they really hyped them up in the movie. And they played around with it a lot too. So they elongated a lot of parts. They had a lot of extra in between acting to like create more suspense, and when you know the popular is gonna pop. um and that's fine, but again, it just lost its big, powerful, booming, fun energy that you get in the Broadway and the theatrical production, or just, even just vocally if you're listening to the soundtrack. I didn't love it. With that said, let's move on, because this is the unpopular opinion that I'm gonna get maybe crap for, but from no one, because no one watches this. So it's fine. So anyway, I thought Cynthia was incredible. Her subtlety, which is funny because, yeah, both her and Ari are very subtle in their acting style. Again, I don't want to keep repeating it, but I just like when Glinda's more over the top and then Elphaba's more reserved, but instead they're both reserved. And Ariana's so subtly bitchy and mean, and it's just so subtle that you almost don't even know if she's kidding or if she's being mean. And Elphaba's also so subtle. It's just the little glances that they give each other. They're very light. I mean, you see it in the interviews, and the interview press tour that they had was just they're both so sensitive, so soft. And I love that about them. There's no judgment at all about how they are. It's just this is just, I'm just speaking to what I wanted from Wicked and how I felt about it. So yes, I thought that, wow, Cynthia Erivo just gave such breathtakingly deep performances. You could just feel that she was definitely living the pain of bringing her life experiences to this role. And the close-up shots, every time she would have a emotional crying moment, it was just so moving. Her acting skills are just excellent. And I mean, gosh, the best scene hands down of the movie is the dancing scene, right? Oh my gosh. And then in that scene, I will say Ariana was excellent. I will say that is her best scene. That is Cynthia's best scene. That is their best scene together. Just best. John Chu just did an incredible job with that. Yeah. When Cynthia starts to just break down crying, when you just see slowly her armor start to fall down, when Ariana starts to realize oh, she's actually just a person, when Fiyero says, oh wow, she just doesn't care at all about what anyone thinks of her, and then Glinda's no, she does, she actually does, she's really good at hiding it. And then you just start to see the humanity of Glinda, and you see the humanity of Elphaba. And I know I'm switching between character names and actor names, but yeah, that is such a beautifully done scene. And I think everyone, with the silence, I mean, you don't see silence being used a whole lot in cinema, the way that it's just, I just would love to see it used even more, because it's just the most moving thing, what's not being said. But that scene, I think they both just did so wonderfully. You see the connection start, the bond really start. It's authentic. It's the most authentic thing in the entire movie that we can all relate to, of going from enemy and just really the way that the human mind separates and others everyone and says you're weird, you're different from me, to then see the transition of recognition of, oh, you're actually exactly the same as me, and I see you, and I love you because you are me, and I've been othering you for absolutely no reason at all. So I just think that speaks to the total essence of the whole movie, and I think is the best lesson for us to take away and bring into our lives, this message of nobody is other, nobody is separate, everybody is you and experiencing the same thing as you. Some of us are just better at hiding it. Ding! And that's the magic, the illusion of magic, as the wizard teaches us. That it's like we're all just walking around with different masks and different facades and costumes, and it appears that some are tougher and some are weaker and some are blah 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 blah. The truth is we're all exactly the same, with our unique little, of course, quirks and differences, but yes, at the core we are all the same. And the more that we can recognize that in each other, the more that we can honor that and really move through the world seeing through that lens, the more that we will live an actual peaceful, harmonious, true life together on this planet. So that's, to me, the essence of Wicked, and it's encapsulated so perfectly and beautifully in that one scene. However, there is a rest of the movie to discuss. So, oh gosh, so much to say. Well, since we talked about casting, let's continue on that. So, Fiyero, Jonathan Bailey. Thank you for that. What a beautiful man, inside and outside. We all know his skills and magic in being able to lure you in and just like fall in love with everybody that he just looks at. From Bridgerton, we know this. And then he's just perfect in this role, and somehow hotter. How did he get hotter is what I want to know. I think he's hotter. No, I think that it's the sideburns. I think getting rid of the sideburns. I honestly, in Bridgerton, when I saw him with sideburns, I was like, yeah, he's cute, but like, it's nothing special. But then sans sideburns, and it's like, whoa, boy, like, I'm gonna need a restraint here. So thank you for that. Love the little cutesy wootsy chemistry between him and Ari. Love it. Michelle Yeoh. Like, who doesn't love a Michelle Yeoh? She's so talented, and I think this role was great for her in the acting sense. Vocally, she will also admit that's not her strength. We saw that. So was she perfect for casting? No. Was it delightful? Yes. And I will say this, even though when I first heard her sing, she just has like her little couple bars of right before The Wizard and I. But I will say, at first I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she's obviously not a singer. But then I have to say, it really, oh, my wand fell. I have to say that she really, I'm going to do a toe grab for this one. I have to say it stuck with me. There was something so innocent and sweet about it. I'm still trying with the toes. Oh, I got it. So, oh yeah, and you got to see some of my cute bottom of my dress. It's really... So I will say that that part it was so cute, that to the point that now when I sing Wizard and I love doing her part, and I like to sing it like her, because it's just so like, so sweet, and yeah, it's just innocent. I just love the innocence of like people who, they're not singers, they don't like project and they don't feel like super strong using their voice in a big way. But then like when they do these like little sweet songs, I feel like they tap into like their little child energy that's just like, of course everyone can sing. Like we're all singers. It's just a matter of, yeah, some people are just more comfortable with opening up their vocal airways and projecting, and you don't have to be like a really loud singer. I think that I'm someone who I'm biased towards loving the big, as I said, like with Ari versus the other Glindas, I am biased towards like a big sound and powerful, but it doesn't mean you're not a good singer if you don't project in a big way. It's just my preference. That, and I was someone who was like told that I was too loud and too big and too loud when I was younger. So it's something that I'm just like, no, I like being big and loud. And I'm jealous of people who are bigger and louder than I am, like people just like Cynthia and Jennifer Hudson and Adele, and like, oh my gosh, just, you know, Whitney Houston and just the queens. Aretha, my God. I mean, the list goes on of just these epically talented, big voices. So it's just something that I admire really greatly. It doesn't mean a smaller voice is less than. It's so sweet in its own way. It makes me think of like Emma Stone in La La Land, where it's like, yeah, she's just got like a sweet little voice, and it's nice, and it was really nice to listen to for that whole musical, and I loved all of those songs, and I was singing those songs actually for a while. So anyway, back on track. Casting, Jeff Goldblum. Who doesn't love a Jeff Goldblum, right? Am I right? I mean, he just sparkles that thing up. He's also one of these just like adorable, like doesn't have a big presence as far as vocally. He has a big presence character-wise because he's just adorable and we all love him and his quirky charm. He's so perfect as the wizard. That's just so Jeff Goldblum. Is like charming. And he'll just charm the pants right off of you so you'll believe whatever he says. And it's like, wee, we're in this magical land. Everything the wizard says is true because it sounds good and it feels good. And then, yeah, I think that his sentimental man number was like adorable. Just it was so adorable with like the moon and then the putting the little alphabet doll figurine into the little balloon thing that goes flying off, and it's just like, what an adorable. And then the yellow brick road and his like miniature town setup. I just thought it was so cute and simple, and yeah, I think that was the point, was to contrast like his big setup of like the scary wizard behind the face that scares everyone and this big production, and then he takes them into like his little, well, this is really who I am. I'm really just a sentimental man, and I just like cute little figurines, and I'm just cute and innocent and childish, and I just like to love everyone and be a father to everyone. And it's like, we find out that's not true. However, that's the point, and it comes across in that way, and I like it. So that was great. Of course, Michelle Yeoh's moment of like was epic. So yeah, I'm jumping around the entire movie because there's just so much to talk about. And what else casting? Oh, well, yeah, then you have our beloved SNL guy, Yang, right? Bowen Yang. So Bowen is just a delight in anything he says and does. It's just, he's so hilarious, so perfection for this role. I love what they did with him, and then I don't know the name of the woman who plays his, other minion character. But like the two of them are hilarious. Bowen, every single line he says, I'm just dying. Because it's Bowen. Because he just puts his Bowen humor into all of it. And even if I didn't know him from an SNL, I would still think he's hilarious because he's just so obviously exaggerating everything he says, and it's so dramatic and yet kind of subtle and kind of authentic in how people talk. So it's great. I was cracking up at every line he had. I don't know why the people in the theater were not, but I've noticed that where I am, and it's not like the big IMAX and the Dolbys, it's just kind of one of the normal theaters, and people are not like as over the top excited about it, and they're kind of just like, people are laughing at certain moments. I feel like everyone laughs at these like big funny moments, but they don't laugh at Bowen. I don't know why. And a lot of the other jokes that I was dying at, I was just laughing like so much. I was either laughing or crying or like singing to myself, not out loud, because I know people don't like that. Although I did, and I'll post this at some point, I was in the theater all by myself once, because I went like many times, and one time I had the entire theater to myself, so I sang. You better believe I'm gonna sing. Of course, why would I not? I have the entire theater to myself, and now Ari's doing opera. Yeah, I'm gonna join her and do some opera singing in the movie theater. Thank you. So I took a little video of that. Dream come true. Dreams do come true, my friends. So yeah, I had a blast. Let's talk about the incredible set. Yeah, obviously we were prepared for that. At least I was. I had seen all the promo about how John Chu was like, bought thousands and thousands of real tulips, just spent so much time and money on the set design and the intricacies of everything, that all of Oz was built. It was an actual town, which I actually can't believe they didn't just keep that up and create like a whole amusement park. Like, that just seems like an obvious win for the world. It's like, leave that, thank you very much. Now charge children to come visit Oz and play, and I think that would be so powerful and fun and would totally work. So anyway, it didn't happen. However, we did get an amazing set design. I agree with the lighting comments. I agree. Would I have had an issue had I not heard about it beforehand? Yes, I would have noticed. Would it have been a big, huge issue? No, it wouldn't have, and it still didn't take away from like the overall just love of the film. But it was noticeable. Yeah, it was noticeable that the lighting was weird. It was too washed out at certain moments, and I would say most moments, actually. I would say, yeah, it was just very pale, and something like, it's like as if the light was overexposed, and I guess he did that. I guess he responded to that and said he did that on purpose, and it's unfortunate, and I'm hoping they can do some editing of part 2, because I'm hoping that's an editing thing. That's not just like, oh, we filmed it this way and now it has to be this way. No, I think you can edit that still after. So I'm assuming and hoping that he took all of the world's comments to heart and is going to apply that for part 2, and we're going to see a more bright and vibrant, colorful Oz the way that he designed it. I mean, you spent millions on creating this epic world, and then you didn't even show us the epicness of it all. Like, I felt the same way about the dance numbers. So Dancing Through Life, the big dance number, absolutely incredible. The library's amazing. The spinny things are amazing. The ingenuity, the creativity was just on point. Surprisingly, Jonathan Bailey is an incredible dancer. Who knew? Now we are privy to this information. My gripe with it is that the camera's always here. So you're always just seeing his face and maybe his torso. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure his legs are doing something interesting. I'm pretty sure the choreography gave him some really cool footwork that we are not seeing. Why are we not seeing? So it wasn't just him, it was the whole number. It was like for everybody. You just couldn't see. And I get it. I get that their focus was, we want to zoom into the face, we want it to feel intimate. It's fair, I understand, but like, we gotta see the legs, we gotta see the full, this is a dance number. How are we not seeing the dance fully? So yeah, that's my thing with that. But otherwise, I was really, really impressed by that number. And then how it bled into the party. And I know that's just how it is in the musical originally. But yeah, I like what they did cinematically with that, how they took us from the library to the ballroom at the party, and it was just like a seamless journey. And then to the epic scene with Elphaba and Ari having their moment. I will point out a few little things that I caught, which is, okay, Glinda has her fancy wand, her new wand that was given to her by Madame Morrible. And then when she goes to join Elphaba in the center on the dance floor to have their moment of falling in love with each other, she hands her wand to Fiyero, and she's like, forget what she says, but she hands her wand, and then she goes in to meet Elphaba, and then they run away to their room together, and they never see anyone else. So how then does she magically have her wand in their bedroom for the popular number when they just came directly from the dance into mourning? So they didn't see anyone. Definitely didn't see Fiyero. He definitely never gave her the wand back. So that's just like, a thing that I caught that I'm not sure why they didn't catch. Another thing I caught was in the scene where the flowers, I forget the name, poppies, right? So the poppies make everyone fall asleep, and Elphaba and Fiyero run off with the cub. Ariana's head, when she falls asleep, she falls over on Fiyero, and he puts her head down gently on the table, and her head is facing forward, like she's leaning her head like this on the table. And then when they leave, and then he like gets up and gets the cub and forgets about her, and then the camera shoots back to show Ari, and her head's to the side. So obviously somebody moved her head just in filming. It wasn't part of the actual story. So there's just like a little things that I caught, not a huge deal. Back to the casting, it reminds me too of our beautiful goat, who was voiced by the wonderful Peter Dinklage, who's an excellent, we know, actor, but apparently a pretty good singer too. I thought that was perfect. He did such a great job. I felt so much empathy for the goat, which was a big deal for me in the Broadway show too, of the whole animals thing. And I'm a little nervous for part 2 because I know it's going to get dark, and it's going to get darker than it is in the show because the original book is very dark. I was vegan for 13 years, so the whole animal rights issue is a very deep wound for me. I just care so much about animals and them being treated well that, yeah, I know it's mostly a metaphor, that the animals are mostly a metaphor for just the people who we have taken away their voices, the people who have been othered, the people who have been marginalized and oppressed in our society, and we've basically stolen their voices, and that's the metaphor. But it's also literal, and it's also like, and there's animal abuse, and you keep them in cages, and it's horrible. And even though they might not speak, the point is still that we've taken away their voices in being able to stand up for themselves and have a free life, and you know, have their needs be met and heard. So even if we don't speak their language, and to hear them complain about how they're being treated, we can certainly intuit the way that they're treated in the animal industry for meat, etc., dairy industry as well, etc., is just horrendous. And the point is that the public doesn't know about it. Like, if people actually saw videos of what goes on and physically saw the way that these animals are treated, nobody would be okay with that. And nobody would be as casual to just grab the packaged meat in the supermarket and be like, yeah, let's just have this for dinner, and have zero awareness or connection to who was this and how were they treated. And I'm not even speaking to any kind of morality around whether or not you should eat meat. It's not even the point. It's the treatment of it. It's not even about if you're going to eat it or not. There's humane ways to treat them, and then there's very inhumane ways, and the majority are inhumane. So sorry for that little interlude. Was not planning on going there. Was planning to just do a light Wicked review. However, it came out. So back to the movie, it was touching. It was really well done. I love the parts where it's like you're in this magical, the woods and the forest and Fiyero and Elphaba meet in this magical forest, because that's perfect. And I love his joke about her blending with the foliage. I forget if that was in the original, and maybe it was. But that's such a good one. I love their chemistry. Could their chemistry be better? Yes. Was it still believable? Yes. I liked it. I'm curious to see how it moves into part 2. Like, I would imagine they're going to expand on that, but to be honest, in the Broadway show, you don't see a ton of development of like Fiyero and Elphaba's relationship. So it's not really the focus. The focus is Glinda and Elphaba's relationship, and then of course Elphaba's journey to becoming the Wicked Witch. And then I love the ties to like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz little throw-ins, which they didn't do some of that the way they do it in the musical, but that's fine. I think they're trying to be more like the original book than I mean, they try and cover both the Broadway musical and the book. But just overall, well done. It was so good. And there's just obviously so much more I can say. All the amazing musical numbers. The costumes obviously are epic. I will just end on, so the music, I've been listening to the soundtrack. I love it. I do really love the Loathing song with Ari and Elphaba, and I will give this to Ari, that when she goes into her like pizzazz moments, love her. So I know she has it in her. It's just she didn't really milk it, and I feel like if any role was gonna let you milk like over dramatizing and overdoing something, Glinda lets you do that. Glinda wants you to do that. And she didn't really do that. But in the moments that she did, for example, like there's one moment in Popular where she's like, right! And it's so fun, and it's funny, and it's just like, whoa, there you are, Ari. And then she goes back to like, and it's just very light. And, you know, that's fine. But I liked those moments where you got the punch. And then another one I loved was just like unexpectedly in the like the Loathing song. I even forget the name of the song, but you know what I mean. Loathing. The I Detest You song. I forget the name. But they're in the bed, and then Ari's just like, well, your face. Well, my face is flushing, and you're just like, you feel her come alive, and she's so authentic and annoyed, and you're like, thank you. Yes, that was you, and that was giving me some juice. So loved that little quip. And then I loved their dynamic in that song. If you listen carefully, actually, Ari's voice is much more audible than Cynthia's, and that's definitely, that can't be like because of their vocals. That has to be some production piece, because I think we all know Cynthia's voice is actually stronger than Ari's, but on that song you hear Ari's much more, and Cynthia's kind of drowned out. But I did really like that song. Loved The Wizard and I. Loved Defying Gravity. Really loved I'm Not That Girl, surprisingly. That's usually a throwaway song that none of us are super attached to, but Cynthia did that one. I felt it again, just like tearing up on that, and feeling the raw emotion behind it. So, and No One Mourns the Wicked. Again, this is where Ari shines with her operatic skill, but I would have wanted more. I would have wanted like more belty opera, like how Kristen does it. But it was still beautiful, and I loved the group number and the whole thing. I just thought the whole thing was really well done, both musically and in the actual movie, like the way that they spaced everything out, and the camera shots, and the burning, like it was like a witch burning, and which was eerie because it was like, they actually burned witches, so this is a little too close to home. And then it was like a Burning Man. Where did that come from? Okay, I guess it means it's time to go. I don't know what that thumbs up was, but that's our sign, friends. Thank you so much for, if this is no one I'm talking to, then thank you to me for talking to myself. And if someone does listen to it, thank you for listening. And if anybody cares, comment. And if nobody cares, then don't comment. And this was fun to do. So, yay! Have a glitzy day.